Joslo reports the national military still has a lot of work to do to ensure the future security of the country.
It's time for morning prayers in Mogadishu, and security forces are just wrapping up a nighttime raid. Somali special forces have rounded up 10 suspected members of the al-Qaeda-linked militant group Al-Shabaab. The group is accused of assassinating government officials in the city. Colonel Farah Ali says the suspects were targeted based on inside information.
We are not looking for just anyone. We are looking for Al-Shabaab. We have intelligence from people on the ground about them. We are not harassing any other people except Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda.
Soldiers from the Amisom peacekeeping mission work hand in hand with Somali military and police to bring security to violence-racked Mogadishu. Former militants also help by locating and confirming the identities of the suspects, according to an Amisom officer who declined to be named.
Screening is going to take place later on, and then using the very guys, the defectors, those ones we've captured, some of the ones to come and assist us in identifying this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so.
Somali military officials say they have carried out about 50 of these raids in the past 3 months, intelligence being one of the most effective tools against an elusive enemy. But elsewhere, Somali forces are struggling. Al-Shabaab has been on the losing end of Amisom's military operations during the past few years, but Somali forces have struggled to maintain control over territory reclaimed from the militants. A lack of equipment and resources, as well as reports of corruption and the diversion of weapons, have all added to the military's woes. The head of Somali Armed Forces, Brigadier General Dahir Aden Elmi, says the military still hopes to take full control of security from Amisom in the next 2 years.
In any way, we are planning to take over in 2016. 2016 is that we will have at least 30,000 professional built army that can take over the security of this country. And we're working so hard actually, to reach that goal.
One of the challenges is trying to restructure the army in the midst of ongoing operations. After serving on the front lines, these Somali soldiers are only now receiving basic weapons training. Here, under the watch of European Union trainers, they are learning to assemble PKM machine guns. But building a unified force is still difficult in such a troubled nation, says the head of the EU training mission, Colonel Jesus Gonzalez.
This generation grew up during the war, so it's not easy for them. And the challenges are there. They have a background of working for a clan, for a militia, but they have not this spirit of unit of country yet.
The biggest challenge yet for these soldiers may be in overcoming old clan divisions and learning to fight for one Somalia. The very future of the country depends on it. Gabe Joslo, VOA News, Mogadishu.
Well, experts say a strong media sector is essential to a country's development, while functioning media support government and private sector efforts on corruption, accountability, quality of life, infrastructure and education. VOA's Mariama Diallo takes a closer look.
One of the themes of this year's observance of World Press Freedom Day is the media's importance in development. In a recent report on the post-2015 development agenda, the United Nations says a free and independent news media are important for facilitating good governance and transparency. Mark Nelson with the Center of International Media Assistance says the media are a critical element in development.
As economies get more and more sophisticated and as they work more effectively, they need information to propel the decisions and the choices that people make every day. Information is absolutely critical, so if that information is good information, you have a much better chance of making the right decisions.
Nelson says there are tangible ways to show that a free media can contribute to eradicating poverty. He remembers a radio show while working in Niger about the importance of washing hands.
These radio programs were credited with really helping to reduce the transmission rate of some of these diseases. And when people are not sick and when they're able to go to work, they They contribute to an economy, and they are able to escape poverty.
Every day this week, the U.S. State Department has highlighted the plight of journalists around the world, especially those who are imprisoned or not allowed to broadcast freely. Marie Harp, state's deputy spokeswoman, told VOA, being able to express yourself and dialogue about what government you want can lead to a better government.
You have an ability for citizens to stand up and say, you are not governing me the way I should be. You are not giving the economic opportunities that our people deserve. You are not taking responsibility as a leader. That leads to accountability.
The World Bank Institute spends millions of dollars on programs to help reform certain areas of the media in the developing world. Jeff Tindwa, its social accountability manager, talks about a program named Open Data Bootcamp for journalists.
This is a program that takes journalists and civic leaders through training in how to access budget data, public spending data, how to interrogate that data, how to clean up that data, how to interpret that data, and then how to use it to effectively ask the questions that need to be asked. There is a direct link between an open government and a capable media and development outcomes.
Tindwa says media have a real stake in how government performs.
They can be given capacity to monitor, for accountability, to reduce corruption, to report back to citizens, and to help build an engaged citizenry.
And it's often through media outlets that complicated information is deciphered and delivered to the public.
Okay, good.
In Washington,
so
Mariama
they've got
Jallo,
one.
VOA News.
They've got 15 more.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered during the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, we'll look at a new program in Uganda that helps people in and out of jail. Our health report is next.
When it comes to world headlines, you know there's more to the story. That's why we're on assignment. Alex Villarreal, Imran Siddiqui, and Powerhouse reporting from the angles no one else is telling, in the places no one else will go, getting the story behind the story.
On Assignment is next. Let's go.
On Assignment. Get more or become a broadcast partner by finding us on Facebook.
Well, it's time for our health report. Joining us now is Africa 54 health correspondent Lino Mudu. Hello, Lino.
Hello, Vincent. Hello, everyone. More than 60 people have died after drinking from a batch of illegal liquor in Kenya. This is the largest number of people killed in a single incident for several years. Dozens of people were also hospitalized, some of them after going blind. Authorities say investigations into the source of the drinks are ongoing. And the World Health Organization says the spread of polio is now an international public health emergency that could grow in the coming month. Polio usually strikes children under the age of 5 and is most often spread through infected water. In 1988, there were 350,000 cases of the crippling disease. Last year, there were 417 cases. WHO says currently there are polio outbreaks in 10 countries in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Experts are particularly concerned that polio is re-emerging in countries previously free of the disease, including Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Ethiopia, and Israel. Now to Uganda, where a new project at a prison is helping to prevent the spread of tuberculosis by providing improved health services to the inmates. Here at the Gulu prison in northern Uganda, new prisoners are isolated and tested for tuberculosis, HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other infections. Behind bars, the frequency of all three conditions are usually high due to overcrowding, unsanitary conditions, and inadequate screening and treatment. After screening, those who are infected with TB are separated from the rest of the prison population, while healthcare providers ensure they take their drugs and complete their treatment.
The risk of not continuing with the TB treatment is that you are at a risk of death. You are at a risk of developing multi-drug resistance TB. which is a bit very expensive to manage in our country.
The program was launched in 2009 by the International Red Cross Committee and